to kill you. I will, because I'm a Viking. Hear that? I'm a Viking! It's okay. I won't hurt you.
How to train your dragon. Psh, I'm untrainable until someone puts a collar on me, but that's a whole other story. Also, hey, like my new look? I had to grow up a bit at some point. Anyway, let's get back on track. So this week, I was able to see the latest live-action remake that nobody asked for, but we're going to get regardless because money. So I thought it might be fun to compare this remake with Lilo and Stitch, which came out a couple of weeks ago, and discuss which is better, what changes were made, and which one is more worth your time. Saying that, I mean, it's this one. No contest, it's this one, obviously. But that doesn't mean that this film is a particularly good remake. Also, quick heads up, my theater was terrible. Some of the worst I've seen in a long time. I'm going to be reviewing this movie as best I can, only on the film's merits. I'm gonna try to be impartial, but full disclosure, this was a bad experience. I'm talking about a woman sitting next to me on her phone with full brightness for the entire film, leaving it face up, so every time she got a text, she would just go right in, just right next to me. Oh, it was terrible. While the young girls that she was chaperoning munched popcorn louder than I could have ever thought possible, while other people nearby were constantly adjusting their chairs every few minutes. It was at a Regal, so the chairs put up little feet rest automatically if you press the button, and they're just constantly messing with it. It was hell, so bad. But I'm an impartial reviewer, as best I can be, so I'm gonna try and focus on the movie, not on the people around me. As I mentioned in the Lilo and Stitch review, I prefer my live-action remakes to include at least some sort of major change, or maybe two, to justify their existence. And this film, for whatever reason, has no changes at all. Well, that's not true or fair. It does have a few changes, but they're almost entirely relegated to aesthetic. The dragons look more realistic, besides Toothless. The characters are more varied looking. Burke isn't as cartoony, and that's pretty much it. There are some other smaller changes here and there, but otherwise, this is an almost shot-for-shot, line-for-line recreation of the original film. That is also somehow 30 minutes longer. How did they do that? But okay, there's a lot I like and a lot I don't, so let's get right into it. But first, if for some reason you haven't seen or read anything about this film series, what is this movie even about? How to Train Your Dragon follows a young Viking named Hiccup, the scrawny, nerdy son of a Viking chief, who is seeking to prove himself to potentially become chief himself, or pass it on to someone else, or figure out just where he belongs. He lives on an island called Burke that is often attacked by a variety of dragons that steal the people's food and kills some people occasionally, including his mother. When he traps a mythical dragon called a Night Fury that nobody's seen before, he can't bring himself to kill the beast, and instead bonds with him and has to fight with the Vikings to get a better understanding of dragons. So yeah, pretty much the exact same film beat for beat. So what is different here? The looks are the biggest thing. Since it is live action, the dragons need to look more realistic, so they're given a makeover. And they do look good for the most part. Their gronkles still don't look very interesting. The Vikings need to look different too, so the filmmakers clearly used that to have an expanded, larger cast of different body types and ethnicities. I can already hear people saying diversity, but who cares? It's a fantasy setting. I think it's a fine change. They even add a line to Stoic about how the group is composed of people from all over the world, so it makes sense, which also helps to explain why nobody has Norwegian accents. They all had Scottish or just American accents in the original film, so little added details like that are welcome. They don't really change anything, but they're nice to see. Some more jokes are thrown in as well with the different looks, like Rough Nut and Tough Nut now aren't identical twins anymore, but they still very much act like they are, which is very clever. I actually really like that detail. Other changes include Gotho being completely redesigned and having a slightly larger role as the island's mystic, but other than that, she really doesn't do anything at all. She's just kind of there in the background and watching. She doesn't have any lines whatsoever, which is fine. She didn't have lines in the original, but she's just there. Another side joke is also expanded to a proper rule of 3, and the fight scenes are significantly longer, which is probably where the half hour comes from. Other than that, the film is nearly identical. So much so, I'm pretty sure they used the exact same script. It's uncanny, it's just one for one. Thankfully, the important small moments are there, like Stoic's reactions after Act 2, and Hiccup's quiet reaction at the end of the film. All of the important quiet moments are kept. Thank God. If those were removed, a lot of the emotion in this movie wouldn't be conveyed as well. There's also some gorgeous recreated visuals that translate extremely well to live action. Love to see that. And the sets and the costumes are phenomenal. They all look really, really good. I will say though that the Vikings don't really look very dirty, especially the kids. Everyone else has at least a little grime on them, but all the kids just look like they stepped right out of a shower, which is very odd to see, but whatever, that's me being nitpicky, I guess. And some visuals unfortunately don't really hold up. The flying scenes don't look very great, but it'd be hard to even hold a candle to the original's flying scenes. Those are amazingly well done. So it's hard to compare the two, but I just don't think they look very good here. And whenever someone is on a dragon that isn't Toothless in particular, it looks particularly bad. One of them was fish legs on a Gronkle. It looked very, very strange. Just really uncanny valley all around there. So a little odd. The acting is pretty solid all around, thankfully, mostly from the lead Hiccup, played by Mason Thames, who surprisingly does a really good impersonation of Jay Baruchel's interpretation, so that's pretty interesting. He's a good, lanky choice that really plays up the nerdy angle of Hiccup, and it's pretty fun and believable to watch him stumble about and learn through interacting with Toothless, who is just as interesting as ever to see. Toothless is just fun. I don't think anyone would dislike him. Gerard Butler reprises his role as Chief Stoic, Hiccup's dad, and frankly, it just works really, really damn well. He's a great actor, and he already played Stoic twice before, so yeah, he knew how this would go, already knows the character, and it works really, really well for him, even with all the heavy makeup and costuming. Anyway, those are the two standouts, but I do also want to mention Astrid, played by Nico Parker. I think she did a fine job with the character, working with Astrid's aggression and surprise when Hiccup coalesces to her without a fight. She does some unnecessary flips at one point that feel odd, and at the start, I just thought she was okay. It didn't really feel like Astrid or anything particularly interesting with the character, but I think she really comes into her own at about the halfway mark. Once she's interacting with Toothless, she is a lot more fun to watch, which is just really good to see. I was waiting to just dislike it overall, but as soon as we hit the halfway mark, it just gets really nice. But the one casting choice that baffles the hell out of me is Nick Frost as Gobber, Hiccup's second substitute father figure. This is just incredibly strange casting. Frost looks weird, like he's too short. He's the same size as all of these teenagers, and somehow, despite the lines from the original film, he also isn't really that big of a parental figure, which is also very odd. Maybe it's just how I feel about Frost after his last film, Getaway. Terrible movie, but this is just an okay performance overall. He doesn't really fit Gobber at all, but he's at least doing a decent enough job with it, I guess. My only complaint is that it just doesn't really feel like the character. Everything else is fine, but That being said, I do also have a few problems here with the movie overall. The pacing feels incredibly off, especially at the start. It's rushed for the first 20 minutes, then it's pretty decently paced, but then the last 30 felt like a drag. This movie really didn't need to be 2 hours long. 1.5 hours is just fine. The story is just way too simple for anything more than that. It's a classic liar revealed story that has been done to death, so switching something major up would have been nice as well. Like, I especially don't like the ending. No spoilers if you haven't seen the first film for whatever reason, but I feel like a more humanitarian approach could have been made. I feel like it really goes against the moral of the story of trying to treat dragons with respect as intelligent creatures. Maybe make the ending a rehousing mission instead? I don't know. Just the original ending just doesn't really go with the overall message. I feel like they could have easily come up with something else. There's a bunch of ways it could have gone, and the film instead chose to keep it so frustratingly the same. I have no idea what we're going to do with the sequel because yes, How to Train Your Dragon 2 live-action remake was greenlit before this movie even released. Isn't that fun? I guess pre-order ticket sales were just that good to warrant it? I don't know. I swear, if they do a shot-for-shot remake of the second film, I am going to scream. They need to change something. Something major needs to be different because I'm having the exact same problem here as I did with Lilo and Stitch, being why should I watch this movie over the original? The original is more concise, just as emotional, and has been out for 15 years at this point. Why do I need to watch it again? I can just put it on Netflix or something wherever it is. It's everywhere. Just, why would I need to watch this remake if it's trying so very hard to be the original? Just watch the original. If you want to be it so badly, why bother? Just be a little different. At least something. Again, I don't think this is a bad film. It's solid in pretty much all aspects on its own, but that's not saying much when I've technically already seen it over a decade ago. The sets, costumes, and acting would need to be leagues better than anything I've seen before, and this feels admittedly pretty standard. So it's kind of hard to recommend this movie. I think it's fine and it's harmless, and maybe my theater experience was the worst part and is dragging my opinion down, but I'm trying to judge based on the movie. Either way, I think it's a fine, decent enough film. I just don't see why it exists. I hope the sequel has something new. I really, really do. But in the meantime, if you want to see this film, I don't see why you shouldn't. I just don't see the harm in waiting until it's on streaming. It's a fine movie. You could spend your time watching other terrible movies, but this is fine. It's just fine. That's really all I can say about it. Oh, also, there is no end credit scene. Don't be fooled online saying that there is. There is nothing at the end of the credits besides a quick 2-second stinger that was already included in the movie. It's not even a joke. There's no dialogue. Don't bother. That being said, I gotta give this movie some kind of score, so let's see. Ultimately, the How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around for another one. As you can tell, I do love this series. Toothless is great. I love everything about him, even if he does kind of turn into more of a dog figure in the other movies. There's this weird thing where they try to say that they're intelligent, they can understand you, they form bonds, but then they treat them like house pets, which feels a little odd. Like, yeah, sure, house pets can be smart, but these dragons seem on a whole other level here. But okay, sure, we're just gonna go with that. And again, that ending, I hate that ending. I understand why, and I think it looks cool. I think the design of everything is really, really cool, but I just feel like it goes against all of the messaging. They're trying to say, no, we don't have to kill dragons. We don't need to fight them. We can be friends with them. We can do this. So why isn't the ending message humanitarian? I understand why, but I feel like it should be humanitarian. It's a fantasy setting. You're telling me you can't come up with a creative solution here? I can feel like I can come up with several. I already wrote down a few, but I'm not going to mention it because of spoilers. But anyway, I don't know. What did you guys think? Did you see this remake? Are you going to see it? What did you think of the original trilogy? Personally, I love 1 and 2. I did like 3, I just didn't think it was nearly as good as 1 or 2. 2 is fantastic, by the way. Honestly, probably as good as the first, but anyway, that's my opinion. Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. After that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a video. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo, the fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost song on your own, and I'm just a ghost in your stereo.